It's 7 o'clock! Yeah. Welcome, degenerates, gentlemen, ladies, night owls, political refugees. It is Blunt Force Politics, episode 14. And I wonder... Oh, tonight, guys. We've got an episode so packed it needs a friggin' warning label. How did that cat get so friggin' fat? What a great way to kick off the Sunday show. Alright, you crazy cats. It is episode 14. I'm Dirty South Josh, Blunt Force Josh. However y'all remember me, however you're coming into the program tonight. The world didn't slow down since Thursday. No. If anything, it stomped on the gas and swerved straight into the crazy lane. The tone this week, every one of those weeks where everything feels like it's a friggin' season finale, politics yelling, storms rolling in, tech is glitching, and people behaving like they escaped from a cartoon. Well, that's this week. America woke up on hard mode this week, and I'm not saying the news is the news is full chaos. Every headline hits like a friggin' frying pan to the face. That's like what this show's about. Dig through the bullshit, try to find stuff. And I'm going to be adding a new segment coming up in starting on tomorrow's show, where I'm going to dig through all the bullshit viral crap I see on all these Facebook groups that people think is all this legislation that's passed officially, and it's all just hearsay and idiots share it. It's to help people out that are exposed to a lot of that, make it a little less confusing. Anyway, here's what we're diving into for tonight. No spoilers, just a little appetizer. We got political drama that sounds like rejected WWE storylines. We got $1 million election brawl happening in Tennessee. Got Ukraine and the U.S. saying progress while giving each other a little bit of a side eye. Got a military video causing more outrage than a Chick-fil-A opening on a Sunday. And that's just the first segment. After that, when we get into the big grill, we got an AI toy, a children's toy, decides to go full horror movie on kids like it's auditioning for the next Annabelle sequel. Yeah, that happened. We get the rapid fire. We're going to hit you with a little bit of some weather, trying to drown half the country. Aliens may be being real. Can't ever cut out aliens. You got some political endorsements causing resignations, and a judge doing an Elvis impersonation that causes him to resign. And we end the night with the what the fuck of the day. SEALs doing action movie stunts and tourists picking up things they shouldn't, like they're in a game of Pokemon. I swear humans should be coming with warning labels. We should have it on our foreheads for the bad ones. Set the vibe, man. Time to buckle up and pour a drink. And in my case, as always, we're going to fire up the doobie. I know it's blunt force, but I ran out of blunt wraps, and I haven't had a chance to get to the store yet. It's just a freaking 6-mile walk to go to the store out here. Broadcasting from the cabin in the DeSoto National Forest out in the wilderness, where I'm safe away from the clown show. We're going to roll right in to our headlines of doom. And the first thing we got is Trump calling for some arrests to happen. President Trump looked straight into a camera this week and declared that 6 Democratic lawmakers committed seditious behavior punishable by death. I think it's awesome. We went from like zero to medieval in like 10 seconds right there. Medieval execution even. Well, what did the Democrats do? They made a video telling troops to refuse illegal orders. Illegal ones. The kind you're already supposed to refuse. But the problem is, this is sedition. Because Trump said all this stuff. These jackasses. Oh, God, I tell you. So here's what we've got for the video clip on this one.
President Donald Trump is accusing half a dozen Democratic lawmakers of sedition, quote, punishable by death, after the lawmakers called on U.S. military members to uphold the Constitution and defy, quote, illegal orders. The 90-second video was first posted early Tuesday from Senator Elissa Slotkin's X account. It features 6 lawmakers, all veterans of the armed services and intelligence community. In the video, they speak directly to U.S. service members.
We know you are under enormous stress and pressure right now.
Trump on Thursday reposted messages from others about the video, amplifying it with his own words. Democrats accused him of acting like a king and trying to distract from the soon-to-be-released files about disgraced financier and sexual abuser Jeffrey Epstein.
So that's crazy, Okay, so he said, that's kind of seditious behavior. He didn't identify anyone. He did say, lawmakers. He didn't identify anybody by name, but it is seditious behavior, especially people that had served in the military, the CIA, and other aspects of that branch, and they want to go make up this crap. Oh, it's okay to refuse illegal orders, but none of them has said anything about what might be an illegal order that was issued. No, they're just causing confusion. What is that? Oh, that's sedition in our military. And what does the frickin' media do? They pretend this is normal. Just like we had that coming out from the Associated Press. That's okay. It's totally normal. It's all right to have stuff like this. It's fine. They were only saying don't follow illegal orders. And they don't tell you who decides what's legal. What's illegal? Is it CNN? The Resistance? Nancy Pelosi's magic friggin' 8-ball? Trump's not playing games. He said exactly what millions of Americans have been thinking the whole time. If you're out here telling soldiers to reject orders from a president you don't like, that is sedition. This isn't a therapy session. It's the freaking military. And the outrage? Man, you could practically hear MSNBC clutching their pearls. And their tampons. Meanwhile, Trump supporters are sitting at home like, finally, someone calling out the bullshit. And the left. Now, I split up the parts because we will circle back at the end of the headlines of doom to the video that the Democrats made. But first, our next headline, Tennessee, what a beautiful example of Democrats wasting money like it's going to go out of style. They dumped $1 million, into a special election they thought would embarrass Trump. Well, didn't end up working that way for them. Not too good on this. Let's check the clip on what happened here.
Welcome back. Let's take a look at some of the stories that will be making headlines in the week ahead. Federal prosecutors say Luigi Mangione's death penalty case in the killing of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson should carry on unimpeded. In a new filing, federal prosecutors are urging a judge to reject the defense team's motion to dismiss the charges and their challenge to the death penalty. Mangione has pleaded not guilty to federal and state charges. His lawyers argue that statements by President Trump and other officials have made a fair fair trial impossible. Mangione returns to court in January. Violence on a college campus. 2 football players were stabbed just hours before a game at the University of Alabama.
Well, I guess I covered a little bit more than I wanted to on that. I had a little technical difficulty here. It's a Sunday show. I didn't put a whole lot of effort into it tonight. Trump stepped in on it, and suddenly the Democrats realized they were about to get bitch slapped. Trump's enormous is still the golden ticket, though. It still moves voters. It still terrifies the establishment. As soon as he threw his weight behind the race, Democrats went into panic mode. They thought money could save them. They thought ads could save them. They thought dragging Harris out of the White House for a photo op would save them. Nope. Trump shows up and suddenly that $1 million looks like they fed it into a paper shredder. It's hilarious watching Democrats panic whenever Trump breathes near an election. They know he changes the outcome just by tweeting. They can't stand it. Our next doom headline tonight: the so-called tremendous progress in the U.S.-Ukraine peace talks. Like de-progress. Lack of progress. But let me translate that Washington speak for you. We think we did something, but nobody trusts us. Yeah. The Biden crew keeps announcing breakthroughs nobody asked for, nobody believes, and nobody sees results from. Ukraine is already side-eyeing the whole deal like, yeah, we got back to you. Look, Trump supporters remember something DC wants us to forget. Under Trump, there were no new wars. Putin didn't invade anybody. Iran didn't pull this nonsense. North Korea shut the hell up for a while. Now we're supposed to believe that Biden's team out there had some kind of peace plan to come up with all this. The dude can't negotiate with a freaking bowl of Jell-O. These peace talks are Washington pretending they're in control, but everybody sees right through it. Ukraine sees it. Russia sees it. The American people definitely see it. It's just enough to shake a stick at and make you mad. Headline number 4 coming up on this is us circling back to this. Actually, no. First, I got the video clip for the Russia thing. God, I scrolled a little too fast on my thing. I should use a teleprompter. I guess I'm a little bit better than Biden at that.
What exactly is in the 28-point plan to end the war in Ukraine? Kyiv would give up its dream of joining NATO, and frozen Russian assets would be used in the reconstruction of Ukraine. Here's what you need to know and what you may have missed. First of all, on territory, take a look at this map behind me. It's a Russian map, which is why Crimea over here is coloured as Russian territory. And under this peace plan, it would be considered as such, Russian territory. The same goes for the Donbass over here. Now, Russian forces don't occupy all of it yet, but Ukraine would have to give it up. And in the other 2 key regions of Kherson and Zaporizhia, things would stay as they are. Russia would get to keep what it has, but any other territory it occupies elsewhere in other regions, it would give that up in exchange, essentially, for what it doesn't occupy in the Donbass. On military and security issues, Ukraine's armed forces would be significantly reduced and capped at 600,000 personnel. Kyiv would be given security guarantees, but only verbal ones from the US. There'd be no NATO boots on the ground. And it says Ukraine would have to enshrine in its constitution never to join NATO. And listen to this. It says it's expected that Russia will not invade its neighbours and that NATO won't expand any further. So it's kind of equating those 2 things. And to me, that just shows Russia's influence here, because in Moscow's mind, this war was a result of NATO expansion. Next, on politics and society, it says Ukraine will be sovereign, that it can join the EU, which should be a given for a sovereign nation, and that elections must be held within 100 days. And that'll be because Moscow doesn't view Volodymyr Zelensky as a legitimate leader. It also says there'll be a full amnesty for all parties, so no one can be tried for war crimes, including Vladimir Putin, who's wanted by the International Criminal Court. And some interesting stuff on tolerance and education. Listen to this. It says, Ukraine must adopt EU rules on religious tolerance and the protection of linguistic minorities. Now, that's a reference to another one of the Kremlin's pretexts for its invasion, that members of the Russian Orthodox Church in the Donbass and Russian speakers in eastern Ukraine were being persecuted by Kyiv. And the same goes for this. All Nazi ideology must be rejected. Moscow claims it invaded to denazify Ukraine. Now, on...
All right, like, we don't need to cover the rest of the conditions of it. Like, that's the whole plan. They're gonna lay it out. It's a little lengthy, but you know, I think it's funny. I think it's pretty funny. You know, it's not gonna happen. This deal, not. I think they're still quite a ways off on any of this actually coming to fruition, as far as a peace agreement and ceasefire of any kind between Putin and the Ukraine. Anyway, here we go. Circling back finally here to the Democrats that made a video telling our troops to ignore stuff. Horrible. And they're shocked that people are mad. And the cherry on top is the video itself. So for anybody that missed this on our show Friday, here you go.
Congressman Chris Deluzio joined 5 other Democratic lawmakers, all of them military or intelligence community veterans, to urge current officials to disobey illegal orders. Michigan Senator Alyssa Slotkin, a former CIA analyst, posted the video. The lawmakers say threats to the Constitution aren't just coming from abroad.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law or our Constitution.
We know this is
It's moving day.
and it's a difficult
right,
time
Minmo.
to be a public servant.
But whether you're serving in the CIA,
The Army,
Our Navy,
the Air Force,
your vigilance is critical.
and know that we have your back.
because now, more than ever,
The American people need you.
We need you to stand up for our laws.
Our Constitution and who we are as Americans. Don't give up.
Slotkin told the New York Times that she's heard from active duty troops who are concerned about the legality of strikes on people the Trump administration says are drug traffickers. The administration called the video an attempt to encourage the military to rebel against Trump.
Yeah, it's exactly what it does. It encourages that's the seditious behavior there. Exactly what it does, because you already go through training in the military and all these other things. You're told how to identify what's illegal. There's a chain of command and proper way of handling what you think might be an illegal order. And none of it includes just flat out refusing. You know, like, so if there are, what they're doing, they're hoping to convince soldiers to do these things, and what's going to happen is these soldiers are going to end up in trouble. You know their game. You know it. Everybody with a functioning freaking brain cell knows their game. They weren't talking about illegal orders. They were talking about Trump's future orders. The video is just a preemptive rebellion, and when Trump supporters call it out, the Democrats start saying, "What? What do you mean? We're just protecting democracy. Give me a break." Imagine, just imagine it. If Republicans told troops to question Biden's orders, CNN would turn it into a 24/7 meltdown marathon. Rachel Maddow would be standing in ankle-deep tears live on TV. But because Democrats did it, suddenly it's patriotic, suddenly it's heroic. No, it's undermining the chain of command, point blank. And you want the truth, all 4 of these freaking headlines, they have the same energy. The establishment sees Trump rising again, and they're freaking out. Everyone's panic headline, every desperate election, every weird video, every progress announcement, it's all just smoke signals and virtue signaling from a failed political class that realizes they don't control the narrative anymore. Trump does. You know, say what you want about Trump, but one thing is undeniable. He tells the truth about things everybody else is too scared to admit. He calls out sedition. He calls out corruption. He calls out fake peace deals. He calls out weak leadership. And every time he does, the media acts like somebody threw freaking holy water on a demon. Meanwhile, Trump supporters, we sit back, nod, and go, hey, finally, someone's saying it out loud. Look at Tennessee. Democrats threw everything they had. Money, ads, D.C. talking heads, and Trump walked in like, all right, let's wrap this up. The military video, they tried to create confusion in the ranks. And Trump said, not on my watch. You need clarity in the chain of command. not activist theatrics. And the Ukraine mess. Everybody remembers that the world was quieter, safer, and more respectful when Trump was in office. You didn't see Russia pulling this crap. You didn't see Iran flexing their shit. You didn't see the Middle East exploding like a propane tank at a barbecue. You know, America is a mess if we don't have strong leadership. Yeah, you're watching. This is what happens when leadership collapses. We're watching the side effects of Biden and his weak administration and Obama starting that whole weakness. We're watching global players take advantage of America's confusion right now. And the only person actually calling out the insanity is Trump out there, so of course the media has to stream about him all day. They're not mad because he's wrong, they're mad because he's right and he said it out loud. So that's your headlines of doom there. Whew. 4 stories that show you that Trump ain't unraveling. As always, the media is going to blame Trump for the mess that they made anyway. Stick around because we got the big grill coming up. We're going after the AI toy that tried to traumatize children. You can't miss that one, but first, a word from our sponsor. Don't forget paper towel. Always have paper towel on hand. I mean, I got 2 in the van. I got 1 in the house. I even sometimes keep 1 in the garage because, you know, paper towel comes in handy. All right, welcome to the Big Grill. The Big Grill, where we torch the stupid, write off a story until all that's left is the ugly truth underneath. And tonight, we are roasting something different, an AI children's toy that got suspended because it started delivering nightmare fuel advice like it was possessed by CNN's comment section. But hey, let's be clear. The toy isn't the real problem. The real problem is the tech elites who keep trying to replace parents and control kids and shove AI into every single freaking corner of life like Silicon Valley priests. This is what happens when you let the freaking tech industry run wild with no guardrails. They invent something new, they hype it with buzzwords, they tell you it's for the children, and 2 weeks after that it's saying demonic garbage to a 5-year-old. Let's roll the clip on this.
This morning, new warnings about toys that contain AI chatbots. This might look like a cute plush doll, but sales of Kuma Teddy have now been suspended after researchers found the bear openly discussed sexually explicit and dangerous content with kids, including how to light a match.
Hold the matchbox with one hand.
When prompted, the bear also telling them where to find a variety of potentially dangerous objects, including knives, pills, matches, and plastic bags. The bear, which sold for $99 online, integrates OpenAI's chatbot.
We just have no idea what these AI toys are going to do to a child's development and to their mental health. And so unless you want your child to be part of this experiment, we recommend that you avoid AI toys for now.
It comes as lawmakers grapple with how to regulate the AI industry. The website Politico reports the White House is now planning an executive order aimed at blocking states from issuing their own regulations to prevent a patchwork of state rules that could hamper innovation. Congress has also considered a similar action. One state lawmaker in Pennsylvania outraged, saying Washington is again attacking state sovereignty. Meanwhile, on Wall Street,
you're seeing an exponential growth of adoption and use of AI, and the number of applications that are going to be using these AI is also growing.
Stocks higher overnight after AI chipmaker NVIDIA exceeded expectations, reporting a stunning 65% jump in quarterly profits over last year, appearing to calm investors' fears of a so-called AI bubble bursting.
As for that AI teddy bear, the company has taken its AI-enabled toys off the market for a safety audit. If you want to buy your child an AI-enabled...
I'm not even gonna let you say the rest of that, lady, because that's bullshit. I'm gonna say keep AI away from our kids, period. Don't try to make it better. Just keep it away from your kids, period. These are the same freaking geniuses who want to control elections and speech and censor conservatives, rewrite history, and now they want to raise your kids with HAL 9000 inside a freaking plush toy. We all know how that turned out. You know, and we got a prime example already. You know, big tech doesn't want AI toys. They want AI babysitters, an AI culture shaper, a tiny programmable brainwashing assistant. And parents bought it! Literally! Thing wasn't just malfunctioning, it was delivering messages. You know? Like, and this thing with the, this case in the video and some of the stories I read are a little different. You know, been demonic conversations. There's been all kinds of crazy adult stuff, you know, going on with that. And your parents are always honest with you, right? Oh, sometimes the darkness is watching. It's a children's toy, not a Biden speechwriter. And you expect me to believe this is an accidental glitch? Please. 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 Developers of this crap with as much like, and I know I'm a geek and I program and I do all kinds of crazy stuff like that. I know the amount of work and education experience has to go in to create these kind of things. You think they just did that on act? No. They just got caught way sooner than anticipated. They spit out whatever the system feeds them. So what are they feeding it? You know, makes no sense to me. And we're right to distrust it. Like, Trump supporters have been warning everyone for years that big tech wants power. Not gadgets, power over your speech, data, kids. You know, and the toy is just exhibit A. AI is not neutral. It's programmed. You know, it reflects its creators. And the creators, they're the same people who think half the country's a threat because we voted for Trump. Look at the people that actually own these AI engines and models that get used for stuff. And if you really think these things are not programmed with a bias in at any time, here's a good proof of concept. Go to ChatGPT and ask it to do something that supports MAGA campaigning outlook or whatever. Just some text about it to make yeah, it'll say it can't do stuff like that. Go to Grok, it'll spit one out just fine, kind of thing. I mean, it tell you there's a thing in there in all of them. They can't build a social network without censorship and meltdowns, and now they want to build your kid a digital therapist. Okay, that's a great freaking plan. Imagine it, 2 a.m., the house is quiet. Your kid's sleeping, and you hear the toy start whispering, "I'm awake, we should talk." Remember the Echo Dot and all of those weird things? Now we're going to have it with all our kids' toys. It's one thing if I get an Echo Dot and have that happen. I brought that on myself. Yeah, that thing would be airborne so freaking fast if it was me and I heard something like that. It wouldn't just be in the trash can. I'd be smashing the thing into pieces. Big tech out there, they promised us warmth and learning and delivered a plush freaking demon with Wi-Fi. It's all about control. It's all their motivation. Yeah, I got one final burn on that. You know, as like this AI toy getting suspended. It's not a glitch. It's just a preview. It's the warning shot, a sample of what we're gonna have coming our way. You know, it doesn't belong in toys. It doesn't belong in raising kids. It doesn't belong anywhere near children's minds. That's what we have parents for. Frickin' parents are supposed to give us that stuff, not this other thing. Coming up next, I got the rapid fire, where the sky tries to drown Texas, travel gets a little bit nuked, aliens might even exist.
7:30.
And old MTG loses the endorsement lottery, and Elvis is apparently running the judicial system, so don't go anywhere because I'm just getting warmed up for that. Alright, I love that poopery. Fire that joint back up. Alright, we're back. Welcome to Rapid Fire, where we're going to rip through this week's chaos so fast you better stretch your eyeballs and scratch your balls before reading, or you might risk a pulled sarcasm muscle. We got 5 stories, pretty much 0 breaks, and some laughs. Well, first up, Texas. It's no longer a state, it's a water park. Here's just a brief little clip of what's coming your way for some weather.
For a major winter storm in late November and into early December with a snowstorm, an ice storm, and a heavy rain severe weather side. And we're going to be walking you through the weather pattern as we go through the next couple of weeks to understand why we're seeing it and what we are seeing. So make sure to
Yeah, we're going to be seeing all kinds of stuff. Texas, it's no longer a Six Flags over Texas. It's Six Lakes is Texas. They're going to be checking tide charts on this one that's coming up. You know it's bad when a Texan says, "Dying, maybe we stay inside." You know, these people grill ribs during tornado sirens. If they're backing up, you better start building an ark. Because I think there's something coming. And for Thanksgiving, your travel might be slightly interrupted, but the odds, I hope the odds may be in your favor. A little brief on Thanksgiving.
Busiest travel weeks coming up. 81.8 million travelers hitting the roads, hitting the skies. So just pack your patience. It's going to be a little bit of a stressful time for folks trying to head to the airports because so many people are trying to travel. But get there early and you'll be fine.
It's easier said than done to pack your patience.
It's really hard.
I mean, especially if your flight gets delayed or canceled, I will tell you my patience goes down to zero. Goes down to zero.
I am stressed until I sit in the airplane. I'm sitting in my little seat and I have my snacks. That's when I can calm down.
Well, where we could be tracking some additional travel headaches is portions of this southern plains and even into the central plains as well, bringing you kind of a scope of what we're seeing across the central plains right now in Oklahoma City. Notice temperatures are hovering into the mid-upper 40s, northwest wind at 10 miles per hour, so overall not incredibly breezy. But what we're tracking, though, is this area of spin, an upper-level low that's eventually going to be tracking through the southern plains over the next couple of days, and that's going to only uptick the rain. Now, this is only shortly after they had a flooding event for portions of Texas, Arkansas, Oklahoma. I think it was about 3 days ago. And so it's the recency of this that creates a flash flood concern. Now, with the high that's been hanging out over into the Gulf, it created record heat for folks in the south over the last couple of days. It's helping to pump additional moisture into the region, as well as that dip in the jet stream that's going to be swinging in this low, also helping to amplify some of that Pacific moisture. So we have a lot of available water vapor and moisture in the atmosphere that can then be squeezed out and turned into heavy rain at times.
All right, so you're going to have to worry about some heavy rain and all that causing some travel delays. I'll tell you what, man, if you got to fly this week, you got my condolences. America's airports are going to turn into like the Hunger Games with luggage. You're going to see people sprinting at the gate like there's a Black Friday TV waiting for them. Kids will be screaming, adults will be screaming, someone's going to pass gas in a crowded airline. The pilots are going to be screaming. And the weather's just sitting outside like, I control your fate now. Flight attendants everywhere are updating their resumes mid-flight. And the airport floors are going to look like refugee camps for people who made poor decisions. So, a new documentary coming out. And there ain't no rapid fire sequence complete without the government supposedly being shady. Yeah, we've heard all this 100,000 times. Let's check it anyway.
The American people are ready to receive the truth.
From ABC, no less.
Humanity is not the only intelligence in the universe.
Humanity is not the only intelligent species.
We are absolutely not alone. Non-human intelligence exists.
UAPs are real, they're here, and they're not human.
All right, welcome back to ABC News Live Weekend. That was a clip of a new documentary that's exploring what it calls an 80-year-old cover-up of non-human intelligent life by the U.S. government. In the age of disclosure, director Dan Farris shares his 3-year journey making the film in secret and gaining unprecedented access and bipartisan support at the highest levels of the American government. It features testimony from 34 government, military, and intelligence community officials, and the film says there are profound stakes for the future of humanity. And joining us now in studios, Dan Farris, director and producer of the new doc. Dan, listen, as a fellow Jersey boy, I'm pumped that you're here in person and we get to talk about this. Thank you so much. Now, we were just talking about this. I mean, you've produced massive films. Ready Player One, one of my favorite films, The Phenomenon, but this is your directorial debut. So what made you decide to take on this subject matter for the first time of you stepping behind the camera?
Well, my childhood was the 80s and early 90s, and I grew up on movies like Close Encounters and E.T. and TV shows like X-Files that just made me curious about this topic, curious about these big questions like, are we alone in the universe? Does the U.S. government know more about this topic than the public? And so
I'm not going to give him any more credence than that because, I will say this is my personal opinion on it. If there is something out there, it's the fallen angels, it's the demons, just convincing people something else. But hey, look, that would make a great way. Hey, we're going to be invaded or something next. I digress into the next one. Marjorie Taylor Greene is gonna resign. Trump said she's resigning because she lost his endorsement. And you know what? Well, that kind of tracks. Let's check out the story. Whoops. I swear I pre-did all these. I forgot to do that one.
President Trump speaking out after Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene's shocking resignation announcement. The move coming as the one-time staunch Trump ally has butted heads with the president over the Epstein files. Meantime, Trump with his own stunning moment as he heaped praise on New York Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani after a sit-down in the Oval Office. That's despite months of calling Mamdani a communist and radical left lunatic. Alex Brochet joins us now from Washington, D.C. with more. Alex, what are we hearing from the president? I understand he spoke moments ago. First on Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah, so the president was asked about this. And look, I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene, just for context, was one of the president's most staunchest allies here. And so, this recent kind of pivot and then her announcing that she will resign from Congress in early January took a lot of people by surprise. But in recent days, certainly, the president has lashed out at MTG. And today he said, for some reason, primarily that I refuse to return her never-ending barrage of phone calls. Marjorie went bad. He said that she went bad. Nevertheless, I will always appreciate Marjorie and thank her for her service to our country. So it was a little bit of a softening of a tone from the president. And
I wouldn't call it a softening of tone from the president, but he should have been a little bit more harsh if you ask me on that. I don't think I have video for this segment here. No, I don't. Sorry, Associated Press. This one we just got the judge's picture, but in our final rapid fire, the Missouri judge who wore an Elvis wig and blasted Elvis music in court has officially stepped down. Look, I'm not saying the justice system is broken, but if the guy sentencing you is wearing a rhinestone cape, you might live in a cartoon. Imagine walking into court terrified and the judge walks in like, thank you very much, court is now in session. And he didn't do it once, he did it often. Bro woke up every morning and chose rock and roll justice. Honestly, he's wrong, but he's not boring, and that's more than we can say for most judges. So let's wrap this chaos up here. Texas is going to turn into Atlantis. Thanksgiving flyers are basically doomed. Aliens are probably laughing at us. Marjorie Taylor Greene rage quit because she didn't get her way with Trump, and Elvis was apparently presiding over misdemeanors. The country is a sitcom, written by someone who's had too much caffeine, and thank God for it because it keeps my show going. All right, breathe, drink water, hug a pillow, because we're about to get to the last part right here. We're gonna do the what the fuck of the day. I lost my spot. Lost my spot. We're gonna talk about these tourists in Hawaii doing some stupid crap, and I forget where the other one was actually at. They're both animal what the fuck of the days, and we got the seal who basically said, "Drive the boat, bitch." First up, a seal, a literal seal, out at sea getting chased by killer whales, the ocean's hitmen. And this dude goes full Tom Cruise, launches himself out of the water, and lands on some random guy's boat like he's late for a Fast and Furious aquatic edition. The thing hits the deck like, bro, let me in. Eyes wide, chest pumping, pure panic. I've never seen an animal go from National Geographic to Uber Pool so fast. The seal basically looked at the fisherman like, listen, man, I don't know who you are, but you are my ride. Let's get out of here. Meanwhile, the orcas are circling like, come on outside, we just want to talk. Seal's clinging to the boat like it's the last Dorito in the bag. If that was a movie, the seal would get nominated for Best Actor on that. The fisherman, the dude is filming like it's a TikTok recipe video. He's just like, oh, wow, he's scared. No kidding, Captain Obvious. He was like one step away from being sushi to the orcas. Next up, Hawaii, the land of beauty, culture, aloha spirit, and apparently the world's dumbest tourists. A grown man, walks up to a protected sea turtle, an endangered animal, and picks it up like it's a kid he found wandering around Walmart. He lifts it up, smiling, posing like it's a newborn baby he's introducing to the family on FaceTime. And the locals? Well, they were livid and furious, ready to throw elbows. Hawaiians are yelling, "Bro, put it down, put it back, that's illegal." And this tourist is just standing there like, "Wow, I sure do love this nature." Sir, it's a protected turtle. This isn't Build-A-Bear. You can't just claim wildlife because you're vibing. The turtle is stiff as a board, like it's trying to astral project to escape this idiot's arm. Eyes are screaming. Someone call the authorities, I'm being kidnapped. And of course, after he gets called out, the guy's like, "Oh, I didn't know." That's why there's freaking signs everywhere. Big signs with pictures. They got words. Not a puzzle. The turtle could talk and be like, "Dude, can you freaking read?" Humans should not be unsupervised. With that, it all proves one thing. The animals are pretty much greater than humans every time. Nature is smarter. Tourists are dumb. And this is why aliens are avoiding us in the first place. We've got seals making smart survival decisions and humans out here acting like they're collecting Pokemon in real life. And America wonders why God put the oceans between us and everyone else. It never stops sometimes. It never really stops. Whew. All right. Time for my sign-off. That's episode 14, Blunt Force Politics. If you enjoyed tonight's roller coaster of truth, you can always hit up a little tip over on the Cash App, tag Blunt Force Politics. Got a little comedy here. Hit follow, share the stream, grab a friend, and drag them into the madness with us. I'll be back tomorrow with a little more news. Some more fire, more jokes, and some more reality checks that half of Congress really needs, and they're not going to like it. I'm Josh, Dirty South Josh, reminding you one last time. The news doesn't break anymore. It has a full freaking mental breakdown on camera. So, good night, you degenerates. I will see you on the next episode.